My name's Jasper, and this is my second channel. Feel free to check out my main channel down below. But this is a channel where I post daily videos answering people's questions on how to grow a digital marketing agency using the GoHighLevel software. I've built my own six-figure agency over the past few years, and I still manage clients to this day, so I'm in the trenches with you. And now I help others for free to grow their own agency. And for context, the Zoom call recordings you'll see in these videos, I do every day for free for my GoHighLevel affiliates and just answer their different questions. If you want to be a part of these free Zoom calls and work with me directly, you can read more about how to get access to that down below. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I've been grinding away and I guess I've been getting so busy that I can't keep up with fulfillment. And also I'm on like the cusp of like I have a lot of leads in the pipeline that it's getting to the point that like I deal with everything physically and in person and it works great and I have a system now, but now I'm looking for a VA and I actually went on onlinejobs.ph to search for people and I found applicants. I actually have an interview at 11:30, so I have like five people ready to go to interview on a Google Meet call. But I
Nice.
guess really quickly and I know this is so last minute, and I was just seeing if you have any advice as to how you do your own process with your um like looking for a VA and essentially I told them out like in the post I said that I just want you to pretty much handle all fulfillment if possible. Like obviously I want to make sure that all sensitive information is protected and I know I can give them user access via GoHighLevel and kind of do like a sandbox mode. But I use Google Drive as I through everything for my clients to upload stuff. I use a lot of they and then essentially I build out through that. So I'm just wondering how you like any questions I should look or things I should look out for in these interviews. And like I told them too that I'm willing to do a paid trial of like $20 or something like that just to see if they can execute. But realistically, there's this one guy that like responded pretty well in his application that I'm like hoping he turns out well, but I still don't go in there like expecting that it's going to go well. I just want to make sure that he still is vetted properly. So I'm wondering like what you think the best process is here because I kind of needed someone like 3 weeks ago. But that's just me. So, but I'm also not trying to get ahead of myself.
Yeah, good problem to have. It sounds like you're busy. So first step would be the hiring, which you're about to do here today, which is great. I would usually just kind of write down a couple questions, whatever job I'm hiring for. So like the last one I hired for was a web designer, and I basically just asked him a few questions about the GoHighLevel website builder to see what he knew. Because if you open up and pull up your screen and show the website builder and then ask them, hey, how would I do this? And if they can answer it smoothly, and then how do I do this? Like you could say, how do I create a global section so that I can edit it across all pages on the website? And if they can show you how to do that, plus some other things through the website builder, you just kind of want to gauge their knowledge, make sure they're not bluffing you and say I'm a GoHighLevel web designer, GoHighLevel expert, and they're really not. So
Yeah.
that'd be the first thing. You've used GoHighLevel long enough that you know those things inside the platform that they should know. Like you don't have to go super crazy with all the questions, but like just make sure they have a basic understanding of how to use the website builder and they're not bluffing. And then ask to see any previous work they've done. If they're a web designer, for example, ask them for their portfolio. A lot of them have portfolios. They should if they've built websites in HighLevel. And so ask to see them and just see what kind of work they've done. And if the stuff looks good, that's a pretty good indicator. I guess they could be bluffing if they really were the one that built that site or not, but that's why you ask those questions about GoHighLevel just to kind of gauge their knowledge, see what
Yeah.
they know and what they don't know. And then English is one. You'll just kind of get a vibe for that as you speak with them. You want to make sure they've got good English and they can communicate with you and they don't have to think for 10 seconds before they respond to you. Like there's plenty of good VAs from the Philippines that speak really good English that I wouldn't settle for somebody who has really bad English. It's just tougher for communication purposes and not really worth it,
Yeah.
in my opinion. There's just a lot of communication barriers that you'll run into when you're asking them to do certain things. They might not fully understand what you're saying. So there's that. And then once you found a guy that you like, and then just the vibe, I guess, you'll talk to a few of them and you'll find like maybe this guy that you were chatting with earlier, he's going to be a good fit, and you work with him. And from there, like you said, go on some sort of trial basis, say, hey, let's work together for a couple weeks. If I like you, you don't have to say it like that. If it's working out, we'll continue on whatever basis. And I start all my guys around $5 an hour. So I think that's pretty fair for most of them. They're willing to work for sometimes $4 an hour. A lot of them will have their hourly rate that they want to make, even if it's higher. Like some of my guys said they wanted to make 8 or 9, but whenever I start them, I say, hey, I start everybody at 5, but I'll work it up to we'll increase as we go, as we hit different goals together, as you've worked with me longer, that kind of thing. So I've got a guy that I'm paying 12.50 an hour now because he's been with me for a couple of years. So anyway, that's kind of like the vetting process. And then once you get them vetted, then just like you said, you'd give them user access to whatever sub accounts they need to build in. I never give my guys agency access. They can't manage and create sub accounts. Like I have to be the one to create the sub account. And then
Yeah.
once the sub account's created, I make sure to add them as a user to the sub account so they can go and build the website, set up automations, create the forums, the chat widgets, all that kind of stuff, and they've kind of got free reign inside of that sub account. You could take away like, I mean, once everything's built, the VA, I leave my VAs in the sub account because if that client ever wants edits to their website in the future, the VA is the one that they will email for those updates so that they don't have to
Yeah.
bother me. So I'll usually leave them there. So what you could do is you could toggle off like contacts for the VA so they can't ever see like the client's contacts and leads
Yes.
and never
Yep.
mess anything up there. But everything else I think is pretty fair game other than like contacts. You don't want them messing with that, but like they need access to the forms and the websites and the chat widgets and maybe the automations if your guy's going to be building out the automations for every client.
Yep.
So anyway, they kind of need ongoing access to those kind of things if your client ever needs edits or changes. So anyway,
Okay. All
but
right. Yeah, I mean
you're on the right
that
track.
sounds like that sounds pretty good to me. I think that clears up a lot of questions. Now, do you think like I came up with an idea because like I was looking at like 3 to 5 an hour and I posted it and you still get applicants and whatnot. And I told them I was like I'm might be willing to do like a paid like per project basis, Like I'm the problem is right now I'm kind of doing in like business to business. I'm literally going into businesses and selling to them. And like 9 out of 10 times I close them, right? It's a matter of like sometimes it'll take them 3 months to close, but like it's a matter of not if but when, because usually I can just go in there and just follow up, and call them. Like I don't waste my time like, you know, always just going in, but at the same time, like now they have a face to the person that they saw, in person. So like then I have their number and then I just keep hitting them up and then eventually they're like, yeah, let's do it. So I guess I'm looking for someone like I was looking at the paid per project things, but then I kind of put like I kind of need someone for everything right now. And it seems like a lot of them were willing to be like, I can do that. But over time, like I think, like you said, I'm sure obviously you have way more obviously been doing this for longer, but you start to get to the point where your VAs are specifically hired just to do websites, one for SEO, one for, maybe design. But is that a good start to just have that person kind of do everything, or do you think they'll expect, I guess, more pay from that? Or because I mean, their answers and responses currently in a lot of the applications are kind of like they're willing to grow with me. And my worry is that I don't personally want them working for someone else. That's just me. Like I'd rather have
Yeah.
them there all the time. Like I told them I'll keep them on a base salary regardless. Like, but like to be patient with me as like I mean I have a lot of projects for them regardless. But that's the thing is like in order for me to um focus on generating business, I have to be out there like every day. It's like business to business, and I've been doing that, and now it's getting to the point where I'm like getting backed up because I can't fulfill. Like I'm almost like going through the day and then at night just building out sites, and then I have customers that are calling me like things happened, and you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
um,
I
do you
would
think that paid per project thing is good, or I don't know?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go, to just pay per project. You kind of pay a premium a little bit. Most guys, like if you're paying them per gig or per project, then and you're not hiring them full time, you'll actually pay them more from my experience doing it that way. But
That's what
that's
I
kind
was
of,
thinking.
but it also is kind of safeguarding yourself so that you're not forking out $6 an hour and you're not giving them enough work. Although it sounds like you're busy enough where you probably could hire somebody full time and have enough work for them to keep busy 24/7, or not 24/7, but like 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
But if you're like a little bit hesitant and you're thinking maybe I won't have enough projects to give them full-time work with, start on a gig basis for sure. Be like, hey, I'll pay you $250 per site that you build. There's guys in our community that found VAs that'll build sites for like $100 a pop. It's crazy cheap. I've always paid my guys on average. I think I pay my guy like about 2 to 250 per website. I pay him hourly now, so that's kind of like what it comes back to is like if I do the math on it, for how fast he can build one, it comes out to be about 200 to 250 per site that he builds from start to finish for a client. And if we have a template already and the client wants to go with one of our templates, he can do that even quicker and it's even cheaper. But you will pay a little bit of a premium because they're like, well, I'm not working with you full time. You're not taking a bet on me completely for 40 hours worth of work a week. So like you might need to pay them a little more, but it still could be very much worth it if you're charging your clients a setup fee plus the monthly subscription. I mean, it's the 250 to $300 a pop's not that bad. You're covering
Yeah.
that, no problem with your setup fee or whatever. So
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
and then yeah, just work them into an hourly role. And then it'll be better if they're in an hourly role at $6 an hour than like a per gig basis at $300 a pop. Like you'll pay them less. And it sounds terrible, like we're talking like how do we pay these guys the least amount of money possible? But
Yeah.
it'll be in your favor to like pay them hourly eventually and give them full-time work. And they will only work for you, which is something you brought up earlier. They won't be working for anybody else. So you'll kind of have that peace of mind. You'd hope that
Yeah.
they're not working for anybody else. And if they are, they're working 20-hour days, and that's on them, I guess, if they really want to do that. But so
Yeah. All right.
if you want some more in-depth content on how to grow your digital marketing agency, you can join my free HighLevel Quest community down below. It has my full 7-hour course on how to get your agency fully set up and go high level from start to finish.